Hello everyone, welcome to another Top 10. Today I'm giving you my top 10 favorite John Travolta films. Yes, John Travolta, in my opinion, is one of the great actors, especially coming from the 70s and 80s, and then into the 90s and 2000s, respectively. I love a lot of his films. He does have a couple of stinkers in there that are guilty pleasures of mine, but are terrible films to other people. But in my opinion, this is my top 10 favorite John Travolta films. And here we go. At number 10 is Bolt, the animated film from 2008. I just recently watched this film late last year, and I loved it. John Travolta was perfect for this film. And I love the characters, the animation, the songs. Everything was just beautiful about this film. And it is now one of my favorite animated films. Not top 10, but definitely one I will watch again for sure. And I really enjoyed it. I was actually caught up by surprise with this film. But at the time, because I never heard of it. But here lately, though, I've watched a lot of animated films, especially some older ones too, and I really enjoyed this one. And yes, definitely worth being in my top 10, in my opinion. Coming to number 9 is the 1997 film Face Off. You have John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, who basically swap faces, and the special effects in this film alone are worth watching this film. And it is just phenomenal how when they do switch faces that their personalities are just crazy. And I love this film. I love the idea, the direction, and like I said, the special effects for this film, just phenomenal for 1997. And it was one of my favorite films in 1997. And definitely worth a top 10 spot, in my opinion. Number 8 is Ladder 49 from 2004. Again, I love this film. I love films, disaster films especially. But with this film, I love the NBC show Chicago Fire. But when this film came out, I just fell in love with it. I love the characters. And this is a sad story. You have basically the in and outs of being a fireman, the positives, the negatives, and the negatives being that you get killed on the job, and it is so dramatic. And I feel for the families that actually, they lose their loved ones, and this is no different. And Joaquin Phoenix is in this film, and he did a great job in this film. And John Travolta, Morris Chestnut, just a tremendous cast, and I love this film. And yes, I do tear up in this film because it is sad, but at the same time, that's what they sign up for, and I just love this film, and I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. It is a great film, great John Travolta film. Underrated, in my opinion. Number 7 is Get Shorty from 1995. I mean, enough said. If you haven't seen Get Shorty, I mean, where have you been? He is a mobster who is sent to basically kill someone, and in doing so, meets a beautiful lady who, in turn, turns him to wanting to be a producer, basically, because he finds out that there's no difference between being a mobster and a producer. And that's pretty much the gist of the movie. And it is a great movie. In my opinion, underrated. Some people don't think it's all that great, but I do. I love it. And it definitely deserves a top spot in my top 10. Coming to number 6 is Look Who's Talking from 1989. This film is freaking hilarious. Kirstie Alley, John Travolta, Bruce Willis as the voice of Mikey. It's phenomenal. From the opening scene to the ending, it's a great film, great family comedy. Uh, John Travolta plays a cab driver who is using Kirstie Alley's address to set up residency for his grandpa. And they end up meeting one day in his cab because she is pregnant by a guy who's married. And the scene in the cab alone is worth it. It's so funny. Their chemistry in this film is phenomenal. And I love this film. Olympia Dukakis is in this film. She is funny. And there's so many quotable lines in this film. And Bruce Willis as the voice of Mikey, as the baby, it's just hilarious. I'm not going to talk about the two sequels because, quite frankly, we didn't need sequels. This film was a great standalone film, and there should have been no sequels. But Hollywood being as it is, they like to make money, especially when the first one does. Yeah, they're going to make sequels. Now, had the sequels been as good as the first film, then it would have been a great trilogy. But they weren't. I did watch them, however, and like I said, they're just not as good, in my opinion. But this first film is hysterical. One of the best films of 1989, in my opinion, and definitely worth a spot in my top 10. Now, we're cracking the top 5. The number 5 is Stephen King's Carrie, 1976. I mean, come on. John Travolta in this film, although it's a small role, he's still really good in this film. Basically, this film is about the main character, Carrie, played by Sissy Spacek, who is basically she has telekinesis where she can move things, she can start fires, she can do all kinds of stuff, and she's being teased and picked on in high school, and eventually the prom scene where she just goes off is one of the best scenes in a horror film. And Stephen King knocks it out of the park with this film. And there's been plenty of remakes, and there was actually a sequel, Carrie 2 The Rage, which I actually didn't mind. I actually liked it. And I liked the remake they did with Julianne Moore playing the mom. I actually love that. I love Julianne Moore. But getting back to this film, Sissy Spacek is amazing. And this is definitely worth a top 5 in my opinion. If you haven't seen Carrie, the 1976 original, check it out. It is definitely worth it. You can find it anywhere. You should have no problem finding this movie. Now, number 4 is Wild Hogs from 2007. I love this film. You have John Travolta, Tim Allen, Martin Lawrence, William H. Macy. It is just an hysterical film. You have 4 guys who all lead separate lives, but they're best friends. They love riding motorcycles. And Tim Allen is a dentist. Travolta is married to a model, and he has his own success and everything. But he's fallen on hard times. William H. Macy is a computer geek, and Martin Lawrence was wanting to be a writer, but he actually works for the Firm, which is a plumbing company. And these guys are hysterical in this film. They decide one day, since one of their riding buddies died, that life is too short and they need to go do something. So they all decide to go on this ride across country. And in doing so, they run into other biker gangs. They run into a police officer. I'm not going to spoil it, but it was hysterical. And they find this small town where they find love and friendships, and actually have one hilarious fight scene too with this biker gang. It is just a funny film. These guys are all hysterical. John Travolta as Woody is hysterical in this film. And there's a swimming hole scene when they're swimming. It's one of my favorite scenes, and you've got to check this film out. If you haven't seen it, Wild Hogs is hysterical. One of my favorite films. And definitely worth the top 5 spot in my opinion. Number 3 is Phenomenon from 2007. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this movie because I just did a review on it. You can check it out on my page. I love this movie. It's one of my favorites. John Travolta is celebrating his birthday, and there's this light that comes in contact with him, and he gets knocked on his ass, and he wakes up, and all of a sudden he is super smart. And from there, a lot of things happen. There's conspiracy, there's romance, there's comedy. Robert Duvall in this film is funny. Forrest Whitaker is great in this film. And John Travolta, I love this film. It's very underrated in my opinion, and definitely worth being in the top 10. Definitely worth a top 3 spot in my opinion. Number 2 is the 1980 film Urban Cowboy. I love this film. The soundtrack alone, it makes it worth it. Could I Have This Dance? Looking for Love. Stand By Me. I love this soundtrack and I love this film. John Travolta is a boy from Texas, small town, who is looking to get a better job. And so he goes to where his uncle lives and wants to get a job with him and make a better living for himself. And in doing so, he falls in love with Deborah Winger's character, who I absolutely love. She's adorable in this film. And they meet at this big-ass country bar called Gillies. And at the time, it was the biggest country bar, or however you want to put it, club, whatever, the biggest ever in U.S. history. It no longer exists because it burned down, but it was huge. It could hold about between 5,000 to 8,000 people at one time. That's how big this place was. But Mickey Gilley, he also performs on there. His version of Stand By Me is phenomenal. But John Travolta, that's Bud. Buford Ewan Davis, it spells Bud, B-U-D. I could spell, boy. There's a lot of quotable lines in this film, and it's just a great romance comedy film. And there's a lot of bull riding in this film. It's just fantastic. And Scott Glenn in this film plays the perfect asshole in this film. And yeah, they get into a couple fights in this film too, and it is definitely worth checking out if you have not seen it. Urban Cowboy 1980, a great film. Check it out. And my number 1 favorite John Travolta film is Grease, 1978. That's the year I was born. A lot of great films from 1978 came out, and this was one of them. And to me, it is the best musical of all time. The songs, the quotable lines, the characters. You have the Pink Ladies. It's just phenomenal. John Travolta opposite Olivia Newton-John, who is so beautiful. I love her voice, and their chemistry in this film is phenomenal. And the T-Birds, of course, it's just a great musical comedy, and it still holds up to this day. I just watched it the other night, and I love this film. And in my opinion, it is John Travolta's best film. Like I said, there's a lot of the films I liked of his. Michael is another one I enjoyed. Primary Colors, Broken Arrow. Pulp Fiction was okay. It's not one of my favorite John Travolta films. It's overrated in my opinion. I'm sure I'll get a lot of hell for that, but I don't care. I don't think it's that great of a film. Boy in the Plastic Bubble. The Experts is kind of funny. Be Cool, Swordfish, just to name a few more. But yeah, that is my top 10 favorite John Travolta movies. So in the comment section below, tell me, give me some of your favorite John Travolta films. And did you agree with my list? Did you not agree with my list? And yeah, let's talk about movies. I love talking about movies. I do top 10s and movie reviews. So if you're new to the channel, click the like button and subscribe button. And yes, I would love to talk movies with you guys. So until next time, I thank you for watching, and you guys have a great day, and check you later.